So there's a couple things I want to address that I've been asked about lately, which I just like replied to in comments, but I also want to like make videos about it because I think they're really good questions. One of them is like, what the hell is gonna happen to like the really bad people, like the rapists, the predators, the murderers, the Satanists? Because we have Satanists down here, guys. Like straight up, they worship Satan, and they do all sorts of weird things for him. So anyway, yeah, those people are going to be away for the longest, and they're going to be isolated away from society for the longest time. And a lot of those people are feeling big parts of heaven right now. So them having to be confined to small apartments and in buildings, and they have to like follow obviously certain rules, and they have to like face shit and like go through education and all this stuff is gonna feel very painful for them. The ultimate goal is to not harm anybody. So, because listen to me, this is the issue with murdering people. It's not justice. It's not justice because then that, again, it's like if you think about the energy in the universe, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just is. So if they have created this negative, bad energy, they have to transmute and face that in order to get to the other side of it, in order for their soul, their mind, their bodies to comprehend what it is they have done. Now, if you hear about near-death experiences, these people talk about how they pass away and then they go through this life review where they like view all their life and they see like all the mistakes they made, which I now know is just where they disconnected from God. And some are longer than others. Like I've talked about Charlie Kirk, how his energy pinged me several times. Once was right when he first passed away. And then 3 months later, he pinged me again, which I mean, like he literally came to me and he talked to me about shit. Which is really interesting because he actually helped me. He came to me in October and he was like, I really need you to hold on because I need you here for my daughters. That's what he told me. And he told me right away that like something was wrong. Like he was like, my wife did this to me. Like he told me that. And I was like, okay, no big deal, Charlie. Like chill out. Like I'll hold on. Like I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But little did I know that I was still going to be here, like, 9 months later. Like, I thought I was getting out at that point, you know? So it's, like, dragged on here for me. And now I understand what he meant by that. This has been really hard, especially lately, to, like, keep holding on, man. You know? And then he came to me 3 months later. And I can't remember what the hell it was for. It was for something. I can't remember exactly what that was for, but when he pinged me, he was still in his life review. The 3 months later, which is like a really long life review. Like if like for me, you know, it'd be like a week for us or like a month maybe max. Probably not for most of us. It'd be like a week or two because like we didn't do that much bad shit down here. Do you see what I'm saying? So Charlie was still in his 3 months later, which did not surprise me because he was a piece of shit. He was awful. And so that's the thing about our souls and our consciousness. It exists beyond our bodies. And they show it as like our souls and our consciousness are always connected, and it is the brain that disconnects us from our soul on purpose. Like our soul comes down here to experience a brain. That's the point of being a human. So within that, obviously, there's extreme distortion and stuff, and it's usually trauma that causes that. So that's the thing about all these evil people. There is an origin to this that is beyond unbelievable what we can believe. Obviously, Donald Trump is one of the worst people in the entire world, but you can also see that he comes from a long lineage of probably this bullshit, you know, this like weird demonic bullshit that he's into. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, rapists, murderers, racists, those types of things, they're going to be put away for a very, 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 very long time. And now listen, here's the other difference, though, is that confirmation burps. Oh my gosh, confirmation burps. The goal is to treat every prisoner like we're not treating prisoners right now. First of all, extreme justice and actual fairness and justice, right? Because there's a lot of people who should be in prison and they aren't. And there's a lot of people who are in prison who shouldn't. The other goal of prison is to make it humane and a place where they can actually evolve and actually learn from their mistakes. And the only way you can do that is by learning about your own trauma and going through your pain. So, like, part of their process of healing is going to be watching footage of what they did to people and how it affected their life moving forward. And watching their childhoods back and going through every single piece of pain and trauma that they went through and having to learn from that, which is extremely painful for people like them because they are afraid of it, which is why they create this whole persona around fear. Where a lot of us, it's different. I don't know how to explain it in us. Like, we're just so old compared to them. So when we face pain, we immediately learn from it. That's why I've been talking about this lately. Like, I'm like, hey, like, we didn't become who hurt us. Well, there are people here who become who hurt them and worse because they build a whole persona around fear, around conditioning, around trauma. Like, their whole personality is a trauma response, essentially. Where a lot of us, we just had like moments in our lives where we had trauma responses. Their entire personality is a trauma response. So that's like really hard. That's really difficult for people to understand. That's like difficult for us to understand. That's why we can't understand them. But I'm starting to understand them. Thank God. Thank the Lord. And what it does is it makes me humanize them. It makes me see them as a human, and it makes me see that they deserve a chance to heal. And because I think about my father, guys, you know, it's like he didn't grape me, but boy, did he grape my brain. You know, he narcissistically abused me my entire life, and he denied my humanity, my pain, my suffering. He caused it. He denied that he was causing it all my life. And that's like what these people do. They deny their pain and suffering that they cause people, and they keep perpetuating it. So, like, the only thing I want for my dad is for him to heal. But I want to be far the fuck away from him, and he's not my fucking problem anymore. And I'm going to let some interdimensional being take care of it. And so, like, that's really where we have to be with those people for a while. You know, again, like, there's a lot of anger that's going to come out. There's like, what they're going to do is they're going to let us subjects, the people who are subjected to their pain, heal first and away from them. And once we're in a healed state, we are going to look at them much differently because we're going to learn more about ourselves and our own trauma and our own pain. And once we forgive our lives and we forgive ourselves and we're safe finally, and we're not in this like horse shit and vat of their oppression, we will be able to forgive much easier. It will be much different because we'll be in a different state of mind, a different place in our brains and our nervous systems. And we'll want that because we'll have a different understanding of really a soul. We don't get souls down here because we don't even talk about it. You know, we talk about, oh, you guys save your soul with Jesus and all that shit. But, like, we don't talk about, like, the fact that, like, no, our soul travels through all space, time, and dimensions. Our consciousness travels with our soul. And our consciousness comes down here by our souls to be tested. To experience disconnection from our soul because our soul is God. So if you have that understanding, then you realize, then that's where everybody is one. You know, where the spiritual community is like, everybody's one. Well, we are, in a sense, but everybody has different lessons to learn, and everybody has different experiences that they're going to experience. And, you know, that's where a lot of us empaths, you know, that's why we're here right now, because there are people down here who are unforgivable we're going to have to lead people into learning how to forgive them. But again, like, that's going to take, the only way you can forgive is through time. And that's the point of even being down here, is experiencing time and experiencing emotions. So the only thing is, don't wish harm on people. That's the neural pathways you have to get out of. Try to see them as like a soul that needs to be held accountable. And the only fair thing to do is to get them to learn from it. If you off them, they don't learn from anything. And then they go repeat it somewhere else. And